Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. As you can tell, I have recently moved and I spent all day building shelves, going through boxes, and decorating them. So I hope you enjoy my new background. It might change. I don't know. We shall see. Let me know your thoughts and how you feel about me not being on a green couch anymore, because I think it's kind of fun. I'm kind of digging it, except now I am filming like 8 hours later than I was supposed to because I got very distracted. Anyway, so as a way to break in this new flat and filming in this new space, I thought that we would do something that has become kind of the core of this channel, sort of like the heart of it, something that we all love to do and get riled up over, and that is have a look at some toxic parents, some parents who are a bit shit in one way or another. And today that is specifically going to be some entitled parents. So these are parents who just kind of think they're entitled to everything. And it's just gobsmacking. It's just kind of astounding the level of entitlement some of these parents have. And it's incredibly amusing to read and also just shocking, right? So that is what we're going to do. And if you enjoy this video, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. I have been very busy and stressed with moving and things recently, so any engagement with this video, which means I can have a little bit of a breather, which would be very nice. And I am trying to hit 500k subscribers by the end of the year, so if you are not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button because I will love you forever. And even if you think that you are subscribed, maybe give it a check because you might not be. Sometimes you think you are and you aren't. So now that I've yapped about that for long enough, let's have a look at some entitled parents. My aunt asked me to give my graduation money to her son. Family helps family. This just happened last year. I graduated from UNLV. Nothing huge, just a small backyard thing with some friends and family. I got like $500 total in gift cards from some people. Some cash, couple gift cards, super appreciated. Next day, my aunt, my mom's sister, calls me and goes, "So, you gonna share some of that money with Jordan?" Jordan's her 20-year-old son who dropped out of college last year and hasn't really been doing much. I laughed at first, thought she was messing around. She was dead serious. She said something like, "You know he's been struggling, and you're lucky to graduate. It'd be nice if you passed some of that along." I told her no, it was a gift for me. She got weird and said I was acting brand new and hung up. Then told my mom I was selfish. My mom just said, "Then maybe your kid should graduate first." Whole thing was so weird, lol. Haven't heard from Jordan either. This is so strange. I just don't get that. I don't get it at all. I love getting $500 for graduating and then someone being like, "Hey, I know that you just achieved something and were given like gifts and rewards for doing that, but I really just think that you should give some of that away to my child who has not done that. My child's not done that, but like obviously he's struggling right now, so obviously he really deserves some of that $500 because you want to help him out because he's your cousin. Hey man, why don't you give him $500? If you think your son deserves that money, then you can give it to him yourself. Don't expect people to give away their gift money. What did he fucking do? If you want to give him money, you can just give him money. It's not his cousin's responsibility, especially not when the money is a gift. I hate it so much when people get like money for gifts and then everyone else is like, "Well, now that you have money, you can spend it on me." Fuck off. No, that is my money. That is whoever got that as a gift, that is their money. That is not for you. You're not entitled to that. Especially if it's like a reward for something. Like he can now go out and buy something nice for himself or do something like nice. Being like, "But your cousin deserves..." Shut up. Shut up. He's not entitled to that. You're not entitled to that. Fuck off. Oh my god, I'm not wearing earrings. Okay, I am now magically in a different outfit because I like to keep up the illusion that I don't film multiple videos on one day. So obviously I am not filming this video on the same day I filmed another video or two because I'm wearing a different outfit, so obviously it's a different day. Anyway, carry Carrying on, the next post. Had my turn at "you're too old for that, give it to my kid" today. So I was doing some grocery shopping at my local Aldi today, and I was wearing my hat that has Pokemon patches on it. It's just a black cap with 3 patches. A Psyduck, a Magikarp, and a Gyarados. Gyarados? I don't know. Got to check out, and there was this woman there with her 2 kids. The kids were misbehaving and she was yelling at them. That's when the boy saw my hat and said, "Mom, I like her hat." Next thing I know, the woman is telling me to give my hat to her kid because I'm too old for it. She even tried to reach over and yank it off my head. I told her to go away and that I didn't have to give my hat to her or her kid, and stuffed it up under the jumper I was wearing, checked out, and left. Anywho, it's not much, but there's my encounter with an entitled parent. I just, firstly, obviously, you're never too old to enjoy things. You're not too old to have a Pokemon hat. You're not too old to do whatever the fuck you want. I will never understand that sentiment of being like, you're too old for that. You're too old to I'm sorry that your life has no joy, but some of us like to enjoy things. I always hate this argument so much. You see it on Stan Twitter and stuff all the time, being like, imagine being in your 20s and being on Stan Twitter. Shut the fuck up. I'm 25 and I also like to enjoy things. Right? Imagine how sad life would be if you made it just about work and nothing else. That sounds so boring. Look at this. Look at all the things that I love, right? Life would be, if I got rid of all this, it would just be a plain white wall, and that's boring as fuck. I like to enjoy things in my life, and you're never too old to do that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Anyway, other than that, imagine just going up to someone and trying to steal their hat off their head because you think your kid deserves it more. You can't just go up to people and be like, you're too old for Pokemon, I'm taking that. You can't, it doesn't matter what you think. That's their hat. You're not entitled to that. You can't just be stealing things from people because you think that you can. You aren't entitled to that, Madam Entitled Mother. That's not how this works. You can't just see things that you like and then take them. That's called stealing. And it's generally frowned upon, especially in instances where it is very unnecessary and impacting someone directly. So, steal your baby formula from big corporations. Don't steal hats off of random people. There's your difference for stealing. Anyway, my family disowned me 15 years ago. Complete no contact. Now all at once they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Now this one is very long. Oh my god. It is also very worth the read. So let's dive into it. I, 36 male, got into some trouble 15 years ago. I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day, I carry all the shame, guilt, and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up. This is not cultural or religion. It's just shame to the family name. The situation when I was 19, my ID was stolen and being used in another state and created a situation where my driver's license was suspended nationwide. Somehow, any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. I, however, had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay, but couldn't because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also, at the time, my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down. So to try and make ends meet, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that a couple more freelance jobs and I would finally be able to pay for the tickets. Hey man, I don't think that you should be blaming yourself so much for that. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you for a moment here, but sticking at a job and then just working extra jobs, I don't think you can be like, this is my bad. I fucked up here because I was staying at this job. It's hard to find a job anyway, right? Leaving that job doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find another job anyway. You were staying at a job that you had. It's scary to leave and it's scary to change. You don't know if you're going to find anything else. You literally did nothing wrong in this instance. Please do not feel any guilt or shame about it. Okay, carrying on. This was never the case, and the long story short of it, I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing tickets in my home state. Okay, firstly, interrupting here once again, can we talk about how fucked up the system is? Alright, right? Having to spend 2 weeks in jail because you couldn't pay a parking ticket or a speeding ticket or whatever is wild. It's wild. It's all about where you sit, right? For some people, a few $100s for a couple tickets, that is nothing. Pay that without even fucking blinking an eye. It's just a blip in your bank account. For other people, it's having to work extra jobs, then still not being able to afford it, and then having to spend 2 weeks in jail. Like, you aren't even being punished for like the crime. You were being punished for not being rich. And that's so fucked up. I think that tickets and things like that should absolutely be done based off of like a percentage of like income. Like, I think they do it in Sweden. Is it Sweden? It's some Scandinavian country does it like that, where it's like your fine is like 10% or like 30% or something of your like weekly salary or whatever. Like your salary for that week, it's like a percentage of that. So it means if like a billionaire got a fucking ticket, they'd be paying like millions of dollars for their ticket. Whereas if someone who makes like minimum wage got a ticket, they'd be paying like $20 because it makes the same impact on their like life, right? Like, obviously a billionaire could pay literally any amount of money and it wouldn't fucking matter, but you know what I mean? Like, that just makes it seem more fair, because then at least it's like an actual punishment for everyone. It's like actually like, oh, I fucked up, so I have to give some money, and not like a jail sentence for someone and a nothing for someone else. It's the saying, right, of rich people can do whatever the fuck they want, because if you're just getting a fine, they don't care. They don't care. So, just pisses me off. This guy just spent 2 weeks in jail because he had to choose between paying a parking ticket and paying for his fucking rent. Anyway, carrying on. However, my family felt otherwise, and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent and freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get to the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I didn't need them. So a year later, I changed my last name, phone number, and email. My social media is locked down so tight you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point, I'm happier than I've ever been. Let me get this straight. Your family disowned you when you were 19 years old because you got put in jail for 2 weeks because you couldn't afford to pay for a ticket. If they didn't want to sully their name so badly, they could have just paid for the fucking ticket. Like, you got disowned for spending 2 weeks in jail, when, like, if that was going to be such a problem and, like, dishonoring the family name, why didn't they pay for the ticket? Like, I'm just confused if that's the reason. But honestly, better off for it. If your family's willing to disown you over, like, not paying some tickets or whatever, especially, like, not paying some tickets when, you know, the reason that it was so difficult to do is because you were literally a victim of identity theft, then I think that they're just bad people. And you can tell that they're bad parents through the entire part of this guy being like, I feel shame, I feel guilty, I've like done so much wrong, I'm taking accountability. Bro, you did nothing wrong. Like, literally you did nothing wrong. Like, okay, maybe if you got like a speeding ticket, like speeding is bad. Not bad enough to be jailed for 2 weeks and then, you know, be completely disowned by your family. All right, fuck these guys, really. I'm glad that he's happier than ever, because that makes sense, actually, because these parents sound like the worst. Enter my current time, and 2 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door, and it was my mom and dad. Again, it had been 15 years, and I hadn't spoken to them. Not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, how did you find me, and what are you doing here? Both very valid questions. My mom's response was, $5,000 to a PI. Finally, a search of a Facebook with just your name found you, and the PI confirmed it was you. I responded, you didn't answer my second question. What are you doing here? Okay, private investigators are terrifying, honestly. $5,000? You're paying $5,000 to go track down your kid that you cut off and stopped talking to 15 years ago? You're paying $5,000 for that? I think that the fact that you can hire someone to go find someone for you is just in general kind of fucked up. And it doesn't seem like it should be legal, right? Like, am I wrong for that? Are there reasons why that's a thing that you can do and like why it's legal? Like, I feel like there can be some people in that for some terrible, horrible, and harmful reasons. So like, why is that a thing that you can do? I don't get it. I don't think we should be helping stalkers no matter how much money they have. My mom again. It's been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you have learned your lesson and you are succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things. I ended with, yes, I have learned my lesson. One of them is, I don't think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed, and I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back. shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door, and closed all the curtains. I'm guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes, knocking, demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high, and went to sleep. Good on you. Good for you, as you should. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters-in-law, but the truth is, I don't know any of them, and I don't think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on 2 hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far and that I should give them a chance. And if I didn't like what they had to say, then I would tell them to go away. So it's not even just parents disowning, but like the entire family, like all of his siblings as well. Like that's wild to me because he didn't do anything wrong. Like imagine getting an unpaid parking ticket and going to jail for 2 weeks and then your entire family is like, we don't want anything to do with you anymore. This person, he's 19 and his entire family just cuts him off for being poor, pretty much. That's what happened? Fuck these guys, all of them. I hate all of them. Burn. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it, but now they have taken to stalking me. I'll be completely honest, they are harmless, but just a real pain in the ass, and also I've been fucking with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It's kind of funny. If I say yes, then it's game on. The first night he came over, we walked down to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to, and another night we went to the porn store. That was the best one. That's hilarious. It's terrifying that these parents are just like literally following him everywhere. Like that's so scary. And I do really think that a protection order, a restraining order, whatever should absolutely be happening. But it is quite funny to lead your parents to a porn store. That's quite iconic, actually. This past week, the ways my day off fell, I had a 5-day stretch, so I decided to go to the city for a few days. I'm walking distance to the Amtrak station, and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time, and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform were even telling me that they were trying to talk to me, and I said that I know, but I don't want to deal with them. The train came, and I got on and left them to watch. I loved it. It got to the point I finally had to acknowledge them. They weren't going to go away, so we met at the park across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I told them this was the one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge, I was their jury. Thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them that as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of anything and everything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them that why now, after 15 years, they are demanding to be back in my life, and why they made the decision they did to disown me. They told me that I ruined the family name, and that the shame I brought the family was horrible, and that the only way to make it right was to get rid of me. They said that recently my name has been coming up in conversation and that the family has grown with a lot of new people. That brother and sister-in-law are asking questions about who is Brinley. That I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with. And the same for a nephew who was born last year. And now should be the time to fix things. They said that looking at my apartment and the life I have, I must have learned my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I love being like, you're successful, so you've obviously learned your lesson. He went to jail for 2 weeks for unpaid tickets. There wasn't much of a lesson to learn other than pay your tickets, which he would have done if he had money and wasn't a victim of fraud. Like, what lesson was there to learn? There literally was not a lesson. He didn't need to grow and be a better person because he was doing fine. Like... You had the family name, so the only way to fix it was to cut you off for 15 years because you didn't pay a tick. These people, the fucking audacity. And then, yeah, like the entitlement, right? Like walking up into his life being like, obviously he'll want to be back in our life because, you know, we're the best. And why wouldn't he want his parents? Because, you know, if we forgive him, because obviously we're the ones who have to forgive him, right? Not expecting, like, you know, they don't have to apologize to him. They have to be like, we forgive you, come back. Not realizing that he hasn't forgiven them, and he's never going to, because they don't think they've done anything that needs to be forgiven, because they're perfect, obviously, and why wouldn't he want to come back into their life, obviously? I finally cut them off and told them that I couldn't stand to hear anymore. I was at the point I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore. Not one person. That they just tell everyone the truth, that I was in jail for 2 weeks and because of this decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own and that my one cousin John, who is only a cousin by marriage, was the one that was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them to this day, I'm doing everything on my own and rely on nobody and need or want them in any way in my life. They made their decision and I'm making mine. I told them this would be the last time we talk and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me. And if they continue to follow me around or show up in my apartment, I would have them arrested for trespassing. And I went back home and locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying since. God, yeah, this must have been a fucking emotional roller coaster. Jesus Christ, what a horrible, horrible time. These parents are the worst. The entitlement is off the charts. The parents who genuinely think that like their word is law and that like they can do and say anything and their kids will like just come crawling back to them is astounding. It's astounding. It reminds me, all of these always remind me of fucking doormat mom, right? Like thinking that literally you can say and do whatever you want and being like, but I'm correct and the kids will, they'll come back, you know, because you are the best and you are their god, effectively. And if they don't live up to your expectations, bye-bye. Sister's birthday ruined by entitled birthday and her daughter. I think they meant entitled auntie, I believe is actually what it's meant to be. And English is not their first language, so just going into it. This incident happened about 8 years ago. It was my sister's birthday and a lot of my family members from my dad's side were invited. My dad's sister, who will be called EM henceforth, and her daughter, EC henceforth, were visiting us after a lot of years because they shifted to California. So EM wanted her daughter to be the center of attention since the moment they came in. EC was about 7 years old and everyone was quite taken with her because she spoke in an adorable accent. When it was the time for cutting the cake, EM wanted EC to cut it, even though it was my sister's birthday. The reason being, she is a kid. She deserves to cut the cake. She is the youngest of them all. My sister, S, is way too old to be cutting the cake anyway. It was sister's 11th birthday. So imagine saying that an 11-year-old is too old to be cutting cake. I'm 25 and I'm still cutting my fucking cake. If I have a cake, I'm cutting my cake. Are you kidding me? You cut your cake forever. If you have a cake on your birthday, you are the birthday person. You cut the cake. It's not an age thing. You aren't too old for that. That's just something you do. And 11? That is a child. That is a baby, basically. There's not even that many years between 7 and 11. Like, I guarantee you, when this kid's 11, they'll be going around being like, my kid's 11, so she deserves to do all the kid things, and you, 14-year-old, do not get to do that. 7-year-old, stop trying to take away my kid's kid things, because my kid's a kid, and she's a kid, and you're a kid, but not as good kid. My brain. I just don't understand. No one, even a kid, unless it's like your own kid, right? Unless you're like an adult, I suppose, and there's a kid there, you will sometimes, give it to the kid to do. But an 11-year-old is gonna cut her own cake, right? Like maybe if it was someone's like, I don't know, 19th birthday or whatever, then they might be like, oh, well, I'll let you cut the cake because you want to. But they'd also maybe do that to an 11-year-old, right? Because that's child. EM's request/order was declined by my mom, which made EM quite angry. When dinner was served, EM was very hungry and sat down to eat. As soon as she started, EC started crying and demanded to be fed, and EM expected my mom to stop eating and feed her kid, and my mother agreed. The worst was at the time of gift unwrapping. My sister loves Barbies, so she received a doll and a dollhouse from my mom and dad, and I gave her a bunch of homemade chocolate that I made myself. What does sister need chocolate for? Come on, give them to EC. You are way too old for them. For chocolate? Too old for chocolate? You're not making any sense, EM. You're not making any sense. You're just saying bullshit now, because what do you mean too old for chocolate? No, it's too old for chocolate. Chocolate is for everyone. Maybe 7 is too young for chocolate. I don't know. Homemade chocolate? A 7-year-old's not appreciating homemade chocolate. Let's be so fucking for real. Let's be so for real. She's too young for homemade chocolate. So fuck off. Sister gave EC some of them, which EC proceeded to start eating right then. Sister went on to unwrap other presents and was made to share a bunch of other stuff like sparkle pens, a set of crayons, etc. too with EC. EC, after some time, started wailing that she wanted more chocolate. EM literally shouting, "Why have you not given her the chocolate? Didn't I ask you to? Why are you being so mean? She's your cousin. She deserves them." These people, these kids are gonna be raised to like this child, I feel really bad for her, right? She's like never been told no. She's not learning any like basic empathy or like kindness or sharing, or you know, she doesn't know how to exist without everything being about her. And when she like moves on to being around other people, she's really gonna struggle when she finds out that the world does not revolve around her. She needs to hear the word no. And you also need to stop taking things, like you are not entitled to other people's things, especially not a child. Imagine if someone treated your child like this. Imagine if someone came and started yelling at your child and being like, hey, give your chocolate to that child because that child deserves it and you don't need it. Like, it's her fucking birthday, bro. And it's chocolate. They were presents. Fuck off. Oh my God. S was almost in tears and gave her 3 more. It's impressive that she's not already crying, to be honest. I would have burst out crying at the cake, honestly. That's when my birthday would have been ruined. At the cake, I would have started crying. So she's holding up pretty good, and I feel so bad for her, and I want to give her like the biggest hug. Now only 5 chocolates remained, which she gave 1 to each of us, Mom, Dad, EM, and me. I saved mine to give it to her later. EM noticed it and asked me to give it to EC since I obviously was not going to eat it. I didn't. I'm literally going to throttle this woman. I am going to throttle her. Firstly, this sweet child giving away all her chocolate, and then the ones that she has left, giving them away too. That's so sweet, and that literally has like broken my heart, and I am going to cry. That's so sweet. Oh, honey. And then her sister saving her one, only to be told by this fucking ridiculously entitled aunt being like, well, if you're not going to eat it, give it to my child. Give it to my child. Fuck off. Your kid does not need any more chocolate. Your kid needs to be told no. And also you need to leave. You need to leave and go learn some fucking manners and some respect. So yeah. When sister got to unwrapping the dollhouse and the Barbie, EM actually pounced on the doll and started pulling it away from sister. Now sister started to cry, which made EM angry, and she screamed at sister to shut up and stop being so mean and stingy. EC was from the US and did not have any Indian toys, and she needed the doll. Girl, imagine pouncing on a child and trying to snatch her doll that she got for her birthday. The birthday doesn't even matter. Imagine trying to steal a doll from a child to give to your own child. Like, fucking stop it. Oh my God. Chill the fuck out. Stop it. Why are you here? Do you not understand how people work? Do you not know that like other people exist and have feelings and lives and like desires and just want to like exist and have fun and have a good day? This isn't about you. It's not about your daughter. Stop it. Be a decent person for just like 2 seconds. If you want your daughter to have that doll, go buy that fucking doll, man. You can go get it yourself. It's not the only one in the entire world. Like, go buy your kid chocolate. Go buy your kid a doll. Don't steal your nieces. Are you fucking kidding? My father flat out refused, which resulted in more screaming and crying. Then she left in a huff and kicked at the dollhouse, denting it. My sister was very sad, and needless to say, her birthday was ruined. But that was not the end. About an hour or so later, EM was back kicking and screaming at our door, saying we had poisoned her kid and that she would be suing us. Easy's stomach was aching, but instead of calling a doctor, she drove to our house. We seated them and called the doctor, during which EM was screaming about how we were jealous of her and would suffer terrible fates. The doctor said the pain was because of overeating. Guess she shouldn't have had 6 of those chocolates. EM then proceeded to blame me and my sister for everything and say how we're both spoiled and mean kids. That's so rich. I am obsessed with coming in calling these 2 kids spoiled because they didn't give their things away to a child who was crying and demanding them but did nothing to deserve them. This kid got them for her birthday, and she is mean and spoiled for not giving them away to her cousin, but the cousin demanded more of it than she had in the first place. So like, who's the spoiled and mean one here? Crying because you're not getting what you want because someone's not sacrificing things that they have for you. That's being some people just like shouldn't be parents. Some people, like, they're just screwing over their kids, right? Like, being so entitled and, like, enforcing that entitlement on your child is just setting them up so poorly. And I do truly feel really bad for this kid. I feel bad for everyone involved in this story except for that auntie. She's the fucking worst. She can go rot for all I care. Entitled parent wants me to change plane seats because my face scared her kid. I, 24 male, am visiting Boston for the week and just got off a 5-hour flight a few hours ago, and I'm still kind of shaken up and upset. For context, a few months months ago, I had a procedure called an orbital exenteration. You can search that up if you want. For an aggressive cancer that left me with what is basically a hole the size of a pool ball where my right eye used to be. I typically don't wear any face coverings or prosthetics to cover it because of how recent this was and how I'm still attempting to come to terms with the fact that I'm basically missing the upper right half of my face. Anyways, on this flight, I picked a window seat, like I always do, and settle in. And not long after, a woman boards with her husband and her son, who's around 4 or 5 years old. Her husband has a seat in the row behind me, and she and her son have the middle and aisle seats in my row. The moment her son saw me, he visibly recoils. I'm quite used to occasional glances and stares, and it doesn't bother me, but whenever I notice children looking scared of me, that always kind of hurts. I know kids don't have filters, I understand, but I was expecting his mother to just tell him to knock it off or something. Very valid. Very fair. I think it's very reasonable to, expect a parent to call out their child for being rude like that, in the sense of obviously, kids don't really know things and they can be a bit shocked or afraid or whatever of things that they don't know. And if you see something like that, a kid might be like, oh my God, what happened? Yeah, the correct response there is for a parent to then be like, hey, sometimes people just go through things. We don't do that when we see people, some people look different, blah, blah, blah. Have that little conversation there. I think that's a really valid thing to expect of someone. But no, you know what did happen? Instead, she asked me, can you switch seats with my husband? My son's not exactly the most comfortable sitting next to you. I apologize. He's kind of scared here. So it would really help us out. What the fuck? No. Don't make this. You have to tell your kid to respect people and understand that people are different. Not enforce the idea that it's okay to judge people and treat people differently for being different and looking different. You fucked up so bad here by making this his fault because he's just existing. I told her no, as you should. I wouldn't change seats because I wanted my window seat, to which she asked me a few more times before giving up and saying something along the lines of, seriously? He's only a child. I just thought you might be a little more sensitive. You thought he should be a little bit more sensitive? I think you need to be a bit more sensitive. Because right now you're just being so disrespectful and so rude and telling someone that their existence is scary to a child and that they have to hide themselves away because your child is uncomfortable by them existing. You're being insensitive. You need to have a conversation with your son. This is not his fault. He is existing. You are being a problem and enforcing judgment from your child and not using it as a teaching moment. That pissed me off. I am sensitive. I've been sensitive about my face since the day I got surgery. I've avoided photos, mirrors, and public settings all too often. But apparently, I'm not sensitive enough for choosing my own comfort over a random child's. To be honest, for a while after that, I had to hold in tears because my disfigurement embarrasses me. And oftentimes I'm so embarrassed I don't go out much. And this reminded me exactly why. I understand a child is a child and people will stare, but I just hate how she treated me as if I was doing something wrong by just existing. Exactly. That's the thing, is treating someone like a fucking criminal for just existing is just so fucked up. Instead, you have to teach your kids that, people look different. People are different. We all come from different places. We've all gone through different things. And this is such a good teaching moment to be we don't treat people differently because we don't know, people are all going to be different, and that's okay. And that's good. And we love that people are different. And having that sort of conversation with them, instead of being well, my child is my priority in the way that anything that makes him uncomfortable, I'm just going to remove. I'm going to keep him wrapped up on bubble wrap, and everyone else has to respect that and abide by that. I am entitled to what my child is surrounded by at any given time, including out in the real world. And if you do not fit into the standard of what I want my child exposed to, that is going to be your problem. No, man. You have to have that conversation with your kid and expose them to things and have conversations about why and how things are different, because that's the way the world is. The world is full of different people, and you have to teach them that and respect that and appreciate that, right? Diversity is beautiful. People are all different, and kids need to know that and understand that. And as soon as you tell them that and are hey, don't be rude, don't stare, blah, 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 then he's gonna stop being so judgmental and start understanding and learning that, right? They're still gonna be curious, but you've got to give him the ability to learn and grow and be accepting. Mom threw the gender reveal I didn't want without me. My mother is a narcissist and abusive. She pretended to change when we were adults. All of that out the window during my pregnancy. Everything had to be about her, or she'd scream I was making everything about me, ignoring that she was making everything about her. It bothers me so much when people do that. Firstly, during someone's pregnancy, that is all about them. Whoever is pregnant, that is all about them. Imagine being like, how dare you make your pregnancy about you? Your pregnancy is about me. In what world? In what world is someone else's pregnancy about you? In what world is it a problem when the pregnant person is making their pregnancy about themselves? I think that pregnancy is your own and you deserve to be, making it all about you because it is all about you. One thing she demanded early on was a gender reveal. I still don't know why. She and my father didn't have them for my brothers or me. My brothers also wanted a gender reveal. When I asked why, I was told because they wanted to. I said no. I think they're a bit creepy, to be honest. This is not a judgment on people who have them. I just didn't want one for us. My husband agreed. I offered to compromise to my mom to add pink filters to the ultrasound photo. I also agree though, gender reveals are a bit weird. They are a bit weird. It is quite literally just being like, these are the genitals that my baby has. Yay. It doesn't mean anything, right? A baby is a baby. It doesn't mean anything. The gender, really, it does not matter. So, why are we making it a whole thing, right? That wasn't good enough. My mother planned a gender reveal anyway for a weekend I was visiting. I'm about 7 hours from them, and didn't tell me. She planned a virtual party with pink gender reveal decorations. My dad let me know, and I was upset. I talked to my mother and she told me she was compromising by doing a virtual gender reveal because I didn't want to party. I told her I appreciated the thought. I was in therapy for family doormatism at the time, but it wasn't something to compromise on because it wasn't what I wanted. I couldn't even cancel it myself because she didn't tell me who she'd invited. Oh my god. She and my brothers hounded my husband and me trying to get us to change our minds. Even my dad reached out to ask me to just go along with it to keep the peace. Why? Why is this so important? Why is it how dare you not let me throw a gender reveal party for you? I want to throw a gender reveal party for you. Why, bro? Why? Calm down. Oh my god, if she doesn't want to party, don't have a fucking party. It's not up to you. This isn't your business. It hasn't got anything to fucking do with you. What are you doing? Chill out. And everyone else being like, why don't you just do it? Keep the peace. Fuck off. She doesn't have to. Why don't you just stop? Why don't you keep the peace? Stop. Stop being entitled. Stop thinking that you are the most important person when it comes to her pregnancy. What the fuck is wrong with you? After weeks of this, my mother came to us and meekly said she understood we didn't want it, but that she'd bought some pink poppers on sale. She said it would mean a lot if we could please pop them and take some pictures with just my husband, dad, and brothers when we visited. It was a completely different way that she'd been talking to me. I agreed since I was taken aback, and a few photos for posterity couldn't hurt, right? Plus, she asked so nicely. Once again though, why? Why does it matter? Why does she want to do this? Why does any of this matter? Why does she care? I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, a week before we were to visit, I was flooded with calls and texts congratulating me on my baby girl. My husband and I had only told immediate family at that point, as I had suffered a late miscarriage previously. My mom had changed the date and had the gender reveal a week early. My husband and I weren't even in the state. She filmed it and sent it to everyone in my family but my husband and me. She also didn't include any of my husband's family, though she had their contact info. Why? No. Filming a gender reveal for your child's baby without their knowledge or consent and then sending that out to everyone in your family when they didn't even know she was pregnant to begin with, and not even sending it to the father's side of the family even though you know them, is just the weirdest. Why? I feel like I've asked it a lot of times here, but I just cannot figure out why you would do that. That's such a weird move to do. Usually when these people do this sort of thing, it's to gain some sort of power and to be I'm in control or whatever. But I just this one, I guess it is still her asserting that she has power and can do whatever the fuck she wants. But all it's done now is taken away the privilege of finding things out. If they get pregnant again, this mother is not going to be told. She's just cut herself out of the loop of ever finding out information. She's going to be the last one to know anything ever. So whatever power she thought she was gaining from this, she's lost all of it and more. So congratulations, man. I hope you feel happy about the fact that your daughter's never going to talk to you again. Good job. I hope it was worth it. I tried to call her, straight to voicemail. 4 hours after sending it to everyone else, she sent me the video. It features my brothers breaking a piñata. When it explodes in pink powder, my mother says, "That's right, we're having a go." Then they pop pink poppers. Honestly, I think it's pretty cringy. Yeah, especially for the fact that you weren't there and your mom is like, "We're having a go." You're not having anyone. We're having a go. No, you're not having anyone. And if you keep this up, you're not even having a granddaughter. So, you know, maybe turn it back a little bit, because you're losing every second that goes by. You are losing more and more grandparent rights. Finally, she answered me. I asked why the fuck she had a gender reveal and sent the video message without my involvement, and she dismissed me and said, "I don't know why you're so upset. You didn't want the gender reveal anyway." Like, yes, that is exactly why I was upset. She stole my pregnancy announcement and specifically did the gender reveal I didn't want and hid it from me. I fucking love being like, why are you so upset? You didn't even want the gender reveal. Yeah. So like, what? So what's not computing here? You didn't even want the gender reveal. So why are you upset I did a gender reveal? You just answered your own question. Oh my God. Cannot believe throwing a gender reveal party when someone asked you not to, and then being like, but like, you didn't want it. So like, I did it because you didn't want to, and that's why I didn't invite you. I do need you to sit down and think about what you've done, and I hope that, yeah, this woman was never told anything ever again. She is not allowed to hear any secrets or be involved in anything ever, because she cannot be trusted with anything. So yeah, those are some entitled parents. It's just astounding to me what people expect and what they think they deserve and what they think their kids deserve based off of nothing. And like the fact that they genuinely do just have the biggest main character syndrome ever of like thinking that, you know, other people's feelings don't exist, other people don't matter. You can just take stuff, you can just do stuff, you can just stay stuff, and there's like absolutely no consequences, because the only thing that matters is themselves and their child, and like no one else even exists. Like, please, can we sit down and get some like basic empathy, or at least some like general understanding of how people are and what people want and why it is inappropriate to be acting this way. Anyway, I hope that you did enjoy. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Polar Bee, Sienna, Alicia, Marielle, Bree, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic Petey, Sushi Kawaii, Phil the Duck, Jesse, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.